Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome to another Guardians of Wiltshire live stream. Another Guardians show with Gethin and CJ. Ali will be joining us shortly. We've waited a quarter of an hour for him, so we thought we'd carry on.
Mm-hmm.
How are we, gents?
He's been hiking.
Yeah, he's been hiking apparently.
Whatever that is.
Apparently he's somewhere northern.
Yeah.
How are we, gents?
Sweat.
Doing all right. Can't complain.
Excellent.
Yes, I have moved in with grandparents. Technically, oh wait, oh no, I've got the thing playing in the other. No,
Yeah,
don't want to hear you on
thing.
a 30. Don't want to hear me on a 30-degree delay. Yeah, I'm currently doing a short work placement in London. Huzzah! So look forward to getting to that scene, but it does mean I'm now in a small bedroom with all my granddad's DIY modeling projects. So he actually was quite good when I was a teenager. We built like a little castle for my Warhammer stuff, and he was really good at doing terrain. So
nice.
Full circle. I'm now in his spare bedroom with my box of whatever I could drag along, which will now go to a tournament on at the weekend for the first time since January 2020.
Nice.
You also talked about Warhammer in the room as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Here he is. We're live, by the way, Ali.
Awesome.
We're live, so.
Right, can you actually hear me properly?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, you're coming through my computer.
Oh dear. Right.
Little tech issues of being away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, that's better.
You do sound like you got one of those Britney style mics with the popping and the wind breaker that doesn't quite break wind.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Well, you look nice and shiny and sweaty, so I'll assume you're hiking.
She just had a quick bath, so.
A quick baths aren't quick.
I was going to say
it wasn't originally gonna be a quick bath, and then like you messaged me, and I was like, oh, okay.
Fair.
Apparently, James Holding in the chat is rubbing something for double fell beasts.
Oh no, he has corrected himself to running, but if you interesting,
far more interesting the first way around. Especially as he then went on to describe it as scummy, which, if you kind of take the middle bit of the word, fits with the.
Well,
let's move on.
Dear. Oh dear. Anyways, gents, what have we been up to for the last 2 weeks? Ali, let's start with you because I assume it's fuck all.
Well, no, it's a lot more than hobby-wise, fuck all.
Yeah.
I've been up like 3 Monroes and 5 Corvettes and all of this mountains, basically.
I was going to say, it's not hard to climb a car.
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, if it's on its edge. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Like, most people go away on holiday and just sit on the beach. Turns out I go on holiday and I burn on average 5,000 calories a day going kayaking and hiking, and
I think that'd be better, to be fair.
Knackered.
Did you fall in kayaking?
No, we just got some inflatable kayaks because we're at the moment on the Isle of Arran.
Okay.
So like when we go to the beach, we can just go out, and then we were by like one of the locks in Scotland last week.
Oh, nice.
And we had the lock on our doorstep.
Oh, sweet.
Turns out when you get an inflatable kayak, they're a lot harder to paddle than and get some speed than the other ones. It's not as streamlined.
Imagine, yeah.
I'm just ashamed you didn't fall in.
The fun of kayaking.
No, but we did do the thing where it's like, oh, we can get to that island. That is not too far away. 1 hour later, I think we're halfway.
Oh, God. Is this like a 2-man kayak?
No,
okay.
we wouldn't be able to have 2. We got 2 single-person ones. Otherwise, we would push the other person in.
Yeah, I was going to say that just sounds like chaos.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Catherine, what have you been up to?
So I've been doing quite a bit, actually. Josh and Cameron have been constantly spamming me, trying to get me to do stuff. So
good lad.
I've now attending the Stockpot doubles with Josh, going to unnumbered tiers, and I'm on the reserve list for Sterling as well for events this year. And then I've also, as Ali may have guessed, I'm going to be magnetizing an army because I asked Ali about one of our sponsors, asking about the boxes.
What's your box, Ali?
Really useful ones.
So
I should have brought one on holiday just for me to demonstrate. I feel ashamed I don't have any Gorilla Glue either.
I'll hopefully arrive tomorrow, and then I can start magnetizing some stuff. And then I played a game on Tivda Simulator yesterday, which was started out as one of those good old heirlooms where the opponent picks up the prize at the other end of the board. And then I had to fight my way through. And it was basically me shielding most of the game so he didn't 25% himself by dying. And Aragorn doing the hero play, trying to get the prize. And I ended up, what was it? Last turn, Suladan had the prize, so it was worth 10 victory points. And then Grumbold and Elf charged him and killed him, doing a 10-point victory point swing.
Oh, nice.
Very close game.
Nice. CJ, what have you been up to apart from obviously moving house?
Well, yeah.
You moved to one of the two on your shelf.
Yeah.
CJ did say he was waiting and he was gonna time how long it would take you to mention what's on CJ's shelf. And
basically, not even 30 seconds into CJ talking.
I thought you might mention the weird standing up cat that's over Geffin's shoulder, but
I mean, I've got used to Geffin's photos.
So we spoke about these
he's
before.
at a different angle to normal, which is
move my desk around here.
Yeah,
I like it. Go back.
So yeah, CJ.
Yes. Well, now that I've moved into a family home instead of the home of a crazy landlady who basically made my training experience horrible.
She may be
so
watching.
Now, I really hope so. So you move out of an Airbnb and then you've got 2 weeks to leave her a review, but she can also leave you a review. So you're currently thinking, I don't want to slag her off because then she'll slag me off, and I need to be able to rent other places because I move around a lot for the new work. So what I'm going to do is wait for the 2-week bit where she can no longer leave me a review and then give her a bad review.
That seems like a very valid option.
Yeah.
I thought they couldn't see your review until you left. They'd left you one.
I can't see her review of me until I've left mine, but that doesn't mean that she already has. So
I thought it went both ways.
Okay.
Who knows?
So moving swiftly on from that, I can now do modelling because I'm in a family home, and obviously the person I'm staying with does a lot of modelling of his own. So yeah, the issue is I've not had the time or the energy.
Yeah.
So I've been pulling, 9 till 6 days, and then I'll get back here and it's like have some dinner and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because it's new job, so you're trying to get on with everybody. You're on your best behaviour. You're trying to work as hard as humanly possible, and you're also trying to adjust to new routine.
I found with new jobs, because I did a 2-year graduate scheme and moved around. I found the first couple of weeks draining just because you have to take in so much information.
Oh yeah,
and you just get wiped out.
So I started my new job in June, and it was like June, July, and August. I basically did nothing.
Yeah.
My first month of my new job, which I'm now 4-5 months in, was sort of the same. Didn't really do much.
Yeah.
As in outside the job.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready for my first tournament since January 2020. This weekend is going to be the London Grand Tournament, which we'll come on to talk about a lot. Only other development for me in my social life, fleeting though it is, in London in Trafalgar Square, they had a festival for West End musicals. So I sat there for 6 hours straight listening to. It was a really good experience, except I've not done music festivals before. So I wasn't prepared for, you sort of sit there in your lawn chair going, I'm going to be here for a really long time. So I got completely lobstered.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
So, arms, neck and face have been completely blotted. So today's sponsor is Niveus After Sun, which I have clung to like a drunk to a bottle for the last couple of days.
Which looks eerily similar to Gorilla Glue when not in bottle.
Yes. Well, it looks like something when it's out of the bottle, but
we'll leave it at that.
Leave that to James.
Yeah. Now, my last 2 weeks, I have had a new 3D printer arrive, which I haven't used yet. It's all set up, ready to go. I just haven't had the time because I spent most of the weekend assembling it because I assembled it slightly wrong. Essentially, the bar that is there.
There's a bar that comes with it. That sounds great.
Oh yeah, I wish.
It's empty though.
Should be flat, and I screwed it like this. So when I put the other bit on, it was at all funky angles. So I've sorted that. What else have I done? I have cut my thumbs and fingers quite a lot. Kind of sorting out some secondhand minis. So I got a load of Hunter Orcs on WAG and Hunter Orcs on foot. And I found a few more on eBay as well. So I've been clipping them off their slaughter pieces that are on their feet, taking them off old bases. If the joins were shit because of glue and whoever assembled them didn't do a great job, then
is it you?
No, it wasn't me. No, I've got a nice. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but I've got a nice little deep cut there. That's probably.
You know what's good for that? Genuinely, like most people put, because super glue was originally designed.
I tried that, except it
flesh together.
I tried that, except it was bleeding too much for the super glue to do half, and so I ended up with a big glob of super glue on my finger. I tried to trim the top of it, and So
I remember random story. I remember when I was on a scout camp or something, we were cutting down ferns. Don't ask why.
Firewood, obviously.
No, it was actually to build like
like a shelter. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I ended up cutting myself like with my penknife as I was doing it. But because I had so much sap on my fingers, it just immediately sealed up.
Yeah.
And it was just like the weirdest sort of thing. Sorry, sidetrack.
Yeah, no. That's the whole reason super glue was invented, wasn't it? To stick flesh to flesh.
Yeah.
So,
they train you to do it in the army, and if you have an eye problem where you need to have it closed, like you dry eye severe, they just super glue your eyelid shut and then they'll cure it later.
Yeah. So
they did also realize that it was poisonous if they used it too much though, so that's why it's not really used for medicine.
Don't sit there huffing it.
Swings and roundabouts. So spent so all the Hunter Orcs are now cleaned up, like the excess super glue has all been taken off. I split Bolg and Azog apart and cleaned up all the inside and put them together and green stuff the gaps and all that kind of jazz. So they're all on MDF bases now, ready to have sand on them, etc. And I've got a cool scheme in mind for them. So I want to do some OSL stuff. So some object source lighting stuff. So I want to have like moonlight all coming from one direction, and then want to have like fire coming from the bottom. So the actual painting of them should be quite easy because it will be dark colours, etc. And then I just use my airbrush as much as possible to do the OSL stuff, and then maybe a bit of dry brushing. So that's the plan for those. I had 4 Kaddish Horsemen that I was sent because 2 of mine were damaged, and they send you like just a new pack. So finally got round to priming them and airbrushing the base colours on the guys. So all my cand is like at the same level now, bar a couple of edge highlights on those and a couple of other models, and then I can essentially get on with my cand stuff. Yeah, and I built my 3D printer. So relatively productive, like 2 weeks, I think. So, but yeah.
So in what way were they damaged that justified?
Emotionally.
So literally, the 2 archers, I think it was. Either 2 archers or 2 axemen. It wasn't one of each. The reins underneath the horse's head, there was a gap of like a mil, and that was it. And I sent an email to Games Workshop and said, "Oh, I got these from my friendly gaming store. They're obviously miscast. Is there something you can do about them?" And they went, if you talk to your gaming store where you ordered them from, they can have it put as like a credit thing on there. So you just get a new pack for free. So so I got 4 extra riders, which is quite handy. I converted one to a chieftain, and then the rest are just normal horsemen. So yeah, that was literally it. There was and the ones that were damaged or miscast or whatever, just a bit of green stuff and that gap's gone. So when you're green stuffing metal horses anyway, like it wasn't a problem at all. So yeah, it's just, let's say if anything's miscast or damaged or whatever when you order it, it's worth just emailing GW because they'll just.
The Gibbs Workshop's pretty good with the customer service, especially when it comes to miscasts, is meant to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lately I just sent some photos and they were like, yeah, cool. Talk to your gaming store and they'll get. I will send some more out to them, etc. So
I had that with Thor's Shield.
Yeah, my Thor Shield is quite thin, but obviously I bought that many years ago.
Oh, isn't it? I know Dave Farmer got a whole set of Dolomouth 412 Foot Knights.
Oh, really?
That some of them had bubbles like in the like where the detail kind of thing, and then so he got a set sent for free.
So
one of the things I don't you can criticize.
No, Clubley's had the issue with Haldor and Aleph. Haleth and Aldor.
Oh, he had Gimli's axe one, isn't he?
So he's had 3 recently. So he had the made to order Gimli on sat on Uruk. The axe shaft was broken, and they went, "We can't. It's a made to order, so we don't have any more, but we can give you a voucher for it." And he was like, "Yeah, okay." And to fix the axe shaft is not that difficult. He's had Haleth and Aldor, where Aldor's bow was snapped, so he asked for a new one. Then the new pack, Haleth's sword was broken, and he was like, "To be honest, I've got one good one of each, so I'm not going to try and claim another one." And then he was recently, literally like last week, ordered Dewi, and the foot model came without a cloak. So yeah.
I remember.
I don't know. Do you reckon Rob and Jay and like the whole team just see like Clubby's name on it? Like, should we mess this up, guys?
Send them the bad ones.
I've bought, when the 3rd pack of the Nazgul came out, I bought all 3 of them from Warhammer World when we were at the GT, and got home and realised I had 2 of Kamal's body, I think. So I emailed them and went, "Look, here's my receipt, etc." And they went, "Cool." So they sent me a whole new pack of Nazgul, like that one pack. So, but like Jamie's just said, Skeeth Studios, Jamie Wiggins has said he had an order with the 2 packs of Uruk Scout Heroes, and Malher had no swords, so they sent both packs again. Yeah, like it's just.
I remember there was one point where I placed an order for like, it must have been like £100 worth of stuff. And like in store to get delivered to the store, it didn't arrive in like a month. And the staff member checked on the thing and it was like, "Oh, it should have been delivered by now." So he called up and got them to send it out. The next day it arrives. And then the next week, the other set arrives and he's like, "Well, it's in your name."
Yeah, that's exactly it. I've had a friend order like £150 Necron box, or was it? It might have been even more than that. Maybe like a £250 one. I think he ended up getting 3 of them because one didn't arrive, one did arrive, and then I think another one just got sent as well, and it was like, cool.
It's the whole thing of like, even the staff member was like, "Well, we can't send it back.
No,
like, we can't put it on the shelves, so it's legally yours."
Yeah.
I had that with a Skaven battalion. It didn't have any. This was when I was like 13, 14. Didn't have any command sprues in it.
Oh, really?
And so I just went to the store and it was just like, "Well, I guess I'll just have to give you like another 40 clan rats." Like, so I ended up getting like double the amount of clan rats that I was meant to, because like the only way you could get the command sprue was if you just took it out the normal box. Like, "Well, I can't sell that box, so you can just have that."
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how good they are with stuff like that. And even when I was younger, I bought the Heroes of the West box when I was at my grandparents and took it back to theirs and opened it, and Gandalf's staff had snapped. So literally, like the next day, we went back and they went, "Yeah, cool. Here's a new box. We'll take that one." So
I remember Finecast when that first came out. was a bit of a mess. I think one person in store bought 4 packs of the Fellowship before they had a complete set.
Oh wow!
like
Yeah, I
Boromir
was.
was just in pieces. Gandalf was missing staffs. It's like what?
I think the issue
Obviously, it's
with
a lot better now, but
Finecast is good if the model was built to
for
be in
Finecast,
Finecast.
yeah.
Yeah.
When they were converting it from metal to Finecast.
Yeah.
I think that
Which is
the models
why,
which had issues.
a lot of people in the SPG community are really against Finecast because
Yeah.
that's what happened. But you go to 40k in Age of Sigmar and they're just like, yeah, it's pretty good, really good detail. You can get, there is some really nice Finecast stuff, but as you say, it needs to have been designed for Finecast.
No,
Mhm.
and this is a whole topic for another time, but I'm not fussed on Finecast at all. I think it's a decent enough material to work with. It's much better to work with than metal.
It's easier to
converting and
convert.
stuff.
From converting, oh yeah.
My issue with it is literally when I'm using my metal dwarves and I go to pick up like modern models and I expect there to be weight and there's not any and I accidentally like throw it halfway across the room.
It's also disappointing. I liked
Yeah,
when
like
the
you-
heroes were heavy. You pick it
Yeah,
up and
like-
you bam.
I want to feel my money on the table.
Yeah, it's like I used to have Warriors of Chaos, the Hell Cannon, just a chunk of metal.
God, yeah.
And it was just like if it was Finecast, it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Trying to think what's
I've only once had a GW. Here's a sec, and it was because it was like £12. It was 3 paints, like 3 contrast paint, and it didn't have my house number on it. Found its way to me anyway, but I did contact them and say, probably my mistake, but you just stick the house. And oh, no worries, give us the right one, we'll send you. So I ended up with both, and it's like, okay, but it's paint. I don't need duplicates.
You don't go through paint
these.
that quick.
Yeah.
You run out.
Yeah.
How
like
how are
every
you,
2
how are you
years.
painting this model? I'm pouring contrast paint onto
Yeah, I'll just dunk the model in it.
it. Oh dear. Right, should we get on to a timed top 5?
Nah.
Yeah, go on then.
I think so. Patrick mentioned if you guys had a look at the London GT lists. I don't think we're going to be looking specifically at many lists. I think CJ, we're going to have a look at yours and then also look at the rules pack a bit.
Yeah, we're
not going to go through diving through the lists.
I imagine we may look at the winning lists at some point.
Yeah, I think in a couple of weeks we'll look at some lists that caught our eye, or CJ that caught your eye when you were there.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
I'm going to say CJ is going to win. I haven't looked at any of the lists, including CJ's.
Okay, so yeah, if I win, then it's like, well, do we review me? Because I'm already doing it later today.
Yeah, like we always review you. We're just here to talk about ourselves.
Yeah,
some massive, like narcissistic podcast.
No,
always feel judged.
Yeah, me, Gethin, and CJ have had a little look at some of the lists, predominantly just people we know. But like Gethin said, we're not going to go through lists in depth.
Who's got the filthiest?
Honestly, not a clue.
There's 2, as we said, there's I don't even know how many players there are, but there's a lot. There should be. If there isn't, then well,
right.
What's the point in running the event, really?
Timed top 5, people. Again, as per usual, I do not have my books nearby, so
I can go get mine. It's just an 8-hour drive.
I have got a pad though.
It would have actually been so funny if Ali had been like, I actually have mine.
To be fair,
wouldn't surprise me.
But because I've had to fit 2 kayaks in the car, I haven't got anywhere near as much space.
That's fair.
So let's have a spin. We have. We have the top 5.
I've heard in a while.
Top 5 plastic GW kits, as in Lord of the Rings kits, Middle-earth kits,
Hobbit kits.
So,
oh well, everyone knows what my number 1 is going to
be. Yeah, I was thinking most of the really good plastic kits are Hobbit era ones. So
well, it's top 5.
Yeah.
I need to find out. Open Word to write this down.
Resin is a type
You know
of
what?
plastic.
Word auto opened my last unsaved file, which reads Guahe Vadagas Treeving
Mhm.
correct thing.
That's the point. The new Eagles are plastic. Well, new.
Yeah.
There
Well,
are plastic Eagles.
well, you've got all the new Lord of the Rings era heroes that have come out.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
You've got Terrain.
I did immediately just snap to troop boxes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's loads to choose from.
I just say the worst is goblins. Like
Which
5
ones?
poses. Moria goblins that need
What
more
still
variety in
held
the
up pretty well.
poses.
What about, is it Eastlings where you don't get the right ratio?
That's just infuriating for a whole different reason.
Hey, that's not a problem. Easterlings with less weapon types, not a problem.
Oh, this is actually quite a good one.
Yeah, it's a load.
Who suggested this?
I was going to say, to start with, I wasn't too sure. And then you
I
mentioned
think
all the
it was
terrain things.
Louis. I think Louis.
I don't want to give him too much credit.
No, don't give him too much credit.
Let's give it to Pavel instead. Well done, Pavel.
Well done.
Also, thanks to Louis, because I've really enjoyed using my Watcher over the last 3 years. So I said, well, now we're doing sigils. Can I get an octopus to put on my Moria shield? And he obliged.
Yeah, someone's got to model that.
That's cool.
Sorry. The little flag-bearing octopus was so cute, and I want one, even though there is no practical purpose for that in a Moria list.
Proxy a cave drake and use it as like the little babby.
Yeah.
All right.
Like just stick it in the ground.
Boy, that's a stretch, but yeah. Oh god,
this is really difficult.
It is, isn't it?
Sadly, Helminga's command isn't plastic,
No.
but it is back in stock, so
Yeah.
it's in my basket right now.
How have you not got it?
Because it wasn't in stock. It was a whole production.
It's been
thing.
around for ages.
I mean, I haven't looked to buy things for ages.
Hasn't done hobby for I don't know, last decade.
I also really want to do that third-in conversion that someone used the AMA model for.
Theoden or Theodred?
Theodred.
I've seen someone use
that was really nice.
The AMA one and the Theoden one. I've seen
I did
a
Theodred from Theoden.
Yeah.
I'll probably use the AMA one because I have that Theoden model as my Theoden mounted, whereas I've got the old style.
I got that Theoden one for
AMA.
free. From I think we won it when we went to the ETC or something.
The new plastic Theoden you can find on eBay for less than a tenner.
Oh yeah.
It's dead easy to find. Oh, I think a plastic kit where you have.
Is Invisible Frodo plastic? I'm not going to put it
down.
Resin.
No resin.
Well, they did do
a minute 10. Minute 10.
Those invisible ones were cool.
I mean, there was an invisible one that was just the base with footprints, and that was plastic, technically.
That's great.
No, it was metal.
I thought there was metal.
It was metal.
Like the US only rare one.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think it was metal.
It was metal. I see.
Trying to think.
So I've got a list. I don't know whether it's.
I've got a list as well.
Yeah. It's much harder than I thought to remember what's plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I've got my 5.
I have 5.
I have 6.
We have 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
I'm really tempted to cheat.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that one.
I think I'm doing this.
Mine are all over the place.
Mine have a
that's time.
We got
that's
a banner.
Time, and that's really loud. So we will go into our document. 10.5. Plastic. Kits.
Right.
So,
Potentially ready.
my number 5 is the Easterling Cataphracts, because that kit has so many extra parts. It is unbelievable. Just the amount of swords. There's dead bodies in it. There's like 2 banners, two drums. When there is no need, you can get a captain out of it. There's obviously all the shields. I think there's like extra bodies? Yeah, because there's a cataphract drummer body, so there's extra bodies. And the horses are really cool. So yeah, that's mine. There's just so much flexibility of it. Good evening,
Useful
Mr. Bonner.
conversion for Dragon Knight. If you have a spare drummer, just put swords in the hand.
Yeah, I've done that. Done that before.
Genuinely, because of where cataphracts are generally crap in game to use beyond like 1 or 2. I'd completely forgotten about the kit, even though I have 2 of them at home, which I kind of like used.
I was just looking around and went, and I saw Amder and was like, the cataphracts are an amazing kit.
Yeah, they're really nice to paint as well.
Yeah. So, who is next? Let's go to Geffen.
Okay. So mine's a weird one with Warg Riders, which is pretty much purely because I love Warg Riders.
Yeah, fair enough.
So the Isengard Warg Riders.
Yeah, Isengard ones, yeah.
All the model ones, all the angry ones.
Yeah. But
specifically only if you use Isengard Warg.
very true.
No,
you do also get
here's a sprue of them.
You get a bunch of the bows and the quivers as spare, so if you want to use like conversions for stuff, like some weapons, which is kind of cool.
All of those.
But yeah, I need to go through and repaint my wargs because I painted them a long time ago. But
yeah, nice. Good shout.
They're cool. And I personally prefer the Lord of the Rings aesthetics to the faux wargs.
Yeah, I do as well.
The faux wargs are a bit too cartoony for me.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. CJ.
Warg Riders.
The Hunter Orcs on Fell Orcs.
Yeah, they got a lot of spare bits as well. So I actually bought a job lot of those, thinking that the riders were detached. So I just get a bunch of wolves, and they're not.
I did that as well.
Sculpted on.
Yeah,
but I did get out of it a massive pile of spare heads and arms and bits and pieces. So what I then had was just take Mordor Orcs cheap as chips and chop them up. Now I've got kit bash Hunter Orcs.
Oh, nice! I've got all my Hunter Orcs on Fellwargs are second hand, so I don't have any of the extra parts. And I was looking for some extra bows and quivers the other day.
Well, you got them with the Warg Rider pack.
Yeah.
That
would do my head in though.
On the Mounted Hunter Orcs, because I only needed them for the Fellwargs, but I think the Fellwarg kit was out of stock, so I was just like, I'll get the Hunter Orcs from Fellwargs, and I can get it in time for the GT, I think, a couple of years ago. And so I don't know whether you may see it on the channel, but basically, so I had Fellwargs that I was using, which just had like a little arm sticking up, like as like a holder just to pick it up and move it across, but it was because I didn't realise that they weren't completely detachable.
But like a Looney Tunes when they get blown up and bits of the limbs are still where they were.
But for that reason, I prefer the original Warg Rider kit.
So what's your number 5, Ali?
I think this is going to be controversial because of the horses, but Riders of Rohan.
Yeah, fair.
I like the horses.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think the horses are bad.
I think it's just people like want to like kill the horses after they've painted like more than 5.
I like painting horses as well. I find it therapeutic to paint the horses.
So everyone you can send your horses to get into paint.
Yeah, like the original Warg Riders, there's only 2 poses, so it gets kind of annoying.
Official poses. You can swap the legs around to get 4 different poses.
And also with the Riders of Rohan, those horses were the base for all the metal heroes, and the issue was they got a very crap contact point.
Yeah.
So,
but generally,
I
I
got
think
hate from.
I picked them because I think aesthetically they look exactly like you think they would. Like in the film when you paint them up, and they've lasted the test of time.
Genuinely, like people go, "Oh, we need new Warriors of Rohan, Warriors of Minas Tirith, whatever." What? Like, there's not that much extra detail they're going to put into them. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah, there's like some of the old kits do, like as CJ said before, Moria goblins. Like
even they don't look awful. It's just because you have to have like so many of them, it becomes very obvious.
I think the issues come when it's just like they've got a bow, and then this is just plastic.
Yeah,
but that's the
Very
same
hard
with
to
that's the
convert.
same
That's the frustrating thing.
Most archers are like that. Obviously, unless their arm is up here or.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like I think that's
High elves
an issue
likewise.
where they need replacing.
Yeah,
Well, the Moria Goblin
Because of
Spearman, there is only one Moria Goblin Spearman pose, and it's either helmet or not helmet. And then with the bow, it's either that or it's like that.
Yeah.
And then with the swordsman, it's either like that or it's to the side pointing. There's 5 poses for 24 of them, and as you say, you take them in massive quantities. So
I think, like I said, I think the only plastics that really need to be redone, Moria Goblins, they're a bit flat. Same with the Warriors of Last Alliance, like the High Elves and the Numenor.
The High Elves are still really nice if you just take it as an individual mod.
Oh
like,
yeah,
just the
yeah.
armor and all that's really crisp.
But what I'm saying is, I think the plastic process has moved on quite quickly after that to get models more 3D
but they were part
looking.
of the first wave of plastics, really, that GW ever did.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I think most other plastic kits stand the test of time.
It'd also be nice to be able to buy High Elves without Numenorians.
yeah.
I don't want Numenorians for anything.
It's also like a little knife twist that you do get 2 poses of Numenorian swordsman and elf swordsman, but they are literally just from there to there.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Go on then, Ali. Kick us off with your number 4.
What is my number 4? So this is my cheat. I put Dwarf Rangers / Warriors.
Which one?
They came out
2 for the price of 1.
Which one? You've got to
ring or nothing.
You've got
go with Warriors.
You've got to make
I
a
got
choice.
you back. Go with Warriors. I got you
I'm
back.
gonna go to Rangers just because I still prefer the Metal Warriors.
I've got Rangers 4th as well.
You've got Dwarf Rangers 4th as well.
Yeah. I think they're amazing models. I think they're really cool.
I think they look really cool. They're just a little bit pointless.
Well, I came like runner up with Dwarf Ranger. I use Rangers all the time. I love generally I love Rangers with throwing weapons. A 3+ throwing weapon is like
nice,
amazing.
Pretty annoying.
Yeah.
It's the 2-handed axes in both Dwarf Warrior kits. You're just like, I'm never taking these.
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
2-hand axe ones, I just say don't have 2-hand weapons, and then I use them as a Dwarf Ranger with throwing axe, to be honest.
Yeah.
They just got a very long stick.
I do think if any kit which has a cloak, for me, I quite enjoy painting the cloak.
Cloaks can be good and bad depending on the
Plastic
cloak
kits
and what colour you do them.
Oh, true.
I've never really had an issue with colour.
I hate painting green. Green cloaks do my head in. Yeah, I don't know why.
I started off with green. That used to be my go-to colour.
Red cloaks, amazing.
Blue and purple's pretty simple for cloaks as well.
I've done purple most recently for my Dwarf Rangers.
Nice.
Although they've also been red before. They never have been green.
Brown's easy as well.
I try to put as little brown on cloth as I can because there's so much leather armor in our game.
Have you
does
seen
my head in.
Have you seen my Fairgid's card?
Are they literally just brown?
Yeah, because they got Graveyard Earth or whatever it's called, like cloaks as well.
Oh god!
But then the shields though are blue and white.
So look, this is my paint rack. That and that are some version of brown, whereas like that's my red and yellow and orange.
I was sorting out my paints before, and I've got so much. It's brown and green, but when I was looking at the green paints, I was like, I don't use any of these.
Yeah, green. Yeah,
why have I got so much green?
I've got 2 bright greens, which obviously are never
Yeah.
going to be used for
It's like
Middle-earth.
brown, green, blue, and then like white/cream. I've got tons of.
I've got a lot of
But
black.
then,
The
yeah.
black to white, including grayscale, I have a whole line of as well. Oh, ridiculous. Anyways, CJ, what's your number 4?
I'm still with the mental image of Dewey saying, I try to have as little brown touching cloth as you can manage.
I mean, that's a motto for when you get your kid. Have his little brown touching cloth.
That is true. That's only like 6 weeks away, which is really scary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rivendell Nights.
Rivendell Nights.
Oh, nice.
I
just like
quite
get us away.
I quite like that kit. I don't like the way the cloaks come together and there's a really bad seam line down the back of them. But they do have the little plastic elf shields that you can then press mold to fill in the need for the rest of your army. There's plentiful banners in there, so you can have on your horse and convert for stuff. I've got a spare Gil-galad that lost his spear. He's now serving life as a banner.
Nice.
There are casualties, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And because they come in a 6-pack, I did a... Dewey has clearly left the oven on.
Yeah, no, I've got like an honourable mention.
Okay. What I did was took a 6-pack of Rivendell Knights and I just converted it. So there was Linde, Ellendan, Elrahir, Glorfindel, Elrond, and Gil-galad. It's just like, there you go. I'm saving all that money.
Nice.
A fishing box.
Yeah, that's very efficient. My number 4 is Durnhelm because it was the first bar Theoden, it was the first new plastic kit from GW.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
really
way
nice.
it fits together is ridiculous. From an engineer's point of view, so clever.
I love the Merry.
And
Which
and the Merry that
slots
just
in.
pops on and off. So yeah.
Like, as somebody who I used to play Tau battle suits and I built my army before the game, so I'm all about the having things separate so you can transport it easy. Oh, at least be kicked out of the bed.
Oh.
Getting a tour of the
That's
apartment.
exactly what happened. So this is the Airbnb.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kitchen's down that way. There's some washing I had to do.
Oh dear. Right.
Like there's an empty cheesecake box.
Oh, nice.
Empty. It's a
It's
shame.
not gonna stay not empty.
She worked for the Scottish Tourist Board.
Well, it's just pointed one out there.
I'm contracted. I'm stuck in a contract with Gorilla Glue in a really useful box.
My number 3 is Treebeard. The new Treebeard.
New one.
I haven't got my hands on him yet, but it looks amazing.
That good. That you don't
yeah.
need to for him to make.
Looks like it's got tons of detail. Once again, I haven't seen it in person.
Yeah. My honourable mention would be the Ent kit, the plastic Ent kit. With
I know a lot of people didn't like that.
I'm not a fan of
You
that.
got called a carrot.
Well, there's 2 faces on it, and you can do crazy things with it. You can really sculpt, like really change positions. I've got 2 here. They're not painted.
Yeah, it's cool with the customizability. I agree with that one, yeah.
But come on. So
Steve Bonar's just put in the chat sad cheesecake box, which in any other context.
So that's one throwing a rock, and then the other one is imagine the guy sweeping an orc up.
I like that.
What?
Are you on about like this? So yeah, no, I think they're really cool. But yeah, no, Treebeard's my number 3. So
I just thought of an honourable mention.
Go on then.
Possibly would have made my top 5. But like the 3 trolls.
Oh yeah, they're literally on the floor next to
them.
Yeah. So what's your number 3, Ollie?
My number 3 is Warriors of Minas Tirith.
Oh.
Similar reason, like one, I'm a sucker for ranked up professional looking soldiers.
Yeah.
And they look like they should from the films, and they're quite nice to paint, and just generally I like them.
Yeah, cool.
And to be fair, also maybe because they're like one of the first models I've ever painted. I just generally have always like them, and like I always think people underestimate how nice you can make the models look as well.
Yeah.
Like
It's
with the
just a
shields
really
and that.
nice Minister of.
Yeah, like if you see someone do it properly. I think it's because you tend to see just Fountain Court and competitive lists all the time, or like Rangers or stuff like that, that people kind of don't show off with like the actual Warriors as much as I think they could do.
Like Sean Creed's Warriors Minister are a prime example of that. Like non-metallic metal with like faded blue from an airbrush, just crazy.
I think it's
I always remember seeing, I think Nick Baton's in a White Dwarf article, which he'd done like red and sort of like like on the shield and stuff like that.
There is a Peleg army in War of the Ring, or I think. And yeah, they filed them all off and made them all red, and Boromir is like the steward of Peleg or something.
Probably is the one that I'm thinking of.
I don't know who's done it. So,
Gethin,
what's your number? What's your number 3? And I'm going to try and find this.
My number 3 is Grimhammers.
Oh dear, second.
I think they're going to be quite popular today.
They just look cool.
I mean, the fact that number 3 is.
Like I remember, back even before I was in the GBHL, I did the Grimhammer conversion to spears and shields.
Oh yeah.
Like back before, like when it was really hard to get a hand of, and then you got
that army.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
It's what was it? Defenders of Peleg. Chris Peach, was it? And yeah, he's sanded off the shields and made little like stripe designs, and he's got Dol Amroth and Citadel Guard and knights and all that kind of jazz.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I think for how cheap you can get them as well.
Oh
god, you can just pick them up off eBay.
It's a very cheap army.
That and Uruk-hai are the other ones that are really cheap.
Yeah.
So CJ, you're number 3.
Thought me honourable mention, so I'll chuck in Moran and Orcs at this point. There's a huge amount of character and variety in that box, and you get enough customizable with the shields.
Genuine
to do
question.
what you want.
You know the guy with the fat face?
Potato face.
Potato face. Do we love him or do we hate him?
I don't know who you're talking about.
What?
Help.
There's an orc with giant face.
It's the one with like a hooked sword, and it's down by his side, and he's got an arm that you can put a shield on, and he's basically got a massive like double chin.
Look for a picture.
Yeah, send it to our chat, Gethin.
While you do that, the only one in that box I don't like is the guy that's somehow facing 3 directions at once.
The guy with the mace.
Yeah.
The guy who's walking forward with his mace pointing this way and his head pointing this way.
Yeah, and the shield behind him. My number 3 is a joint award to all of the cavalry boxes that came out with the War of the Ring. So I'm talking Harad Raiders, Galadrim Knights, Dol Amroth Knights, Morgul Knights, Cataphracts.
Yeah.
Those box sets were a brilliant idea to get you mass infantry, because loads of them were just individual metal ones before, and it was really expensive to build up. If you want one to put on your list, go with Morgul Knights, because I've always liked the fact that there's a lot of customizability with that. You can give the sword to the captain. There's a war horn, there's a banner.
You can also use it for like I've seen a lot of people use it for wraiths. If they get the fell beast, you get 2 riders, put Witch King on one of the horse.
I'm annoyed that I'm actually not at home because I painted some Morgan Knights up like red and bone.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I think it's another one of the kits which I think, because people tend to just go to grey and black and silver and grey, like it doesn't quite actually show off all the detail as well. Just because the colours on.
So they just base it in dry brush.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Minister Earth is like lead belcher, none oil, iron breaker. And it's just done. It's like, nah, you can do more.
Gethin, CJ, I think Gethin sent us a photo of Potato Face.
Yeah, it's in the Facebook.
It's in our little Guardians chat. So, while he's doing that, Gethin, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Lake Town House.
Ooh.
Because just a really nice kit. You can use it to make Lake Town houses. You can use it as like germ.
I was waiting for Ali to giggle.
You can use it for like general houses and terrain. It's got a bunch of extra parts for conversions. Yeah, pretty cool set.
Nice.
And it was the first, similar to what you said about Dernhelm, it was like the first plastic terrain set that they released in forever.
Yeah.
And then,
Lake Town houses.
You can make Lake Town houses from it. It's great.
Ali, you're number 2.
I put the Great Eagles.
Oh.
Generally a really nice kit. I don't think there's a monster kit which is easier to paint and make it look good.
I think there's a kit that's easier to paint.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles you could just dry brush and they look nice.
And I think the step up from the metal Eagles to the plastic ones has got to be the best jumping quality. Like, it shows you the capabilities that plastic had over metal.
What I found is anything that was like metal that's gone to plastic, like Treebeard, Eagles, Trolls, the plastics are a little bit bigger, which just lends itself to obviously a bit more detail. So
it was always like sad seeing somebody run Eagles with the old metal Guay and the new Eagles. It was always sad to see it though.
So small.
And also, it was because it was the easiest way. Because to
determine, I guess,
they didn't have the new funky Guay character series one. They just had the one which was like the other two Eagles, but the wings were like flat.
Wasn't it exactly the same? It was just fine cast rather than plastic.
But no, the wings
almost exactly the same.
The wings weren't as angled up or down, like in the middle instead. So I used to use the old metal one just because it made it obvious in game which one was which.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
I've still got that somewhere.
The Forge World Guay is amazing.
Yeah, I really want to get that one.
It's amazing. CJ, you're number 2.
I'm gonna go with Grimhammers. 24, and there's just so much character, and the only thing I don't like about that kit is I can't think of another one that has got so many arm bits, and you try to go, oh, for God's sake, how do these all fit together? I clipped them all out and then went, oh
like
dear.
That.
Yeah.
Have you ever played 40k or fantasy?
No.
All the time.
Yeah,
crew are the worst. You get the wrong GOM combination, you're like that. Can't do anything.
Oh dear. My number 2 is a little bit of a cheaty answer, because it's not out yet. It's the Dol Guldur terrain.
Have we actually seen that yet, or just a painted one in the article?
See, some special people went to a special event and got like a special preview.
To be honest, the pictures weren't much different. Yeah, it was just in the article, but essentially it's completely modular, built on triangles and hexagons.
Is it modular enough to make Lake Town houses?
No, I think you might have to buy the Osgiliath Thrones to build the Lake Town houses.
Or Rohan. The Rohan houses, you can buy those.
So yeah, it's completely modular. The detail on it is incredible. And what they were saying at Ardacon was the fact that the way the sprue was put together, the guy who was building the sprue and doing the stuff and like doing the sculpting was like, I've rearranged the sprue again, and you've got like this extra bit of space. So what do you want? Which is how the statues came about, the cages came about, and there's some other stuff. But the way he'd reworked the sprue meant that they could just add more and more stuff. And apparently it's like completely modular.
Didn't that happen with that's why the ring was in their original Fellowship box, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, was it really?
Because there was actual space. There was just space.
Yeah.
So just put the ring in.
Yeah, fair. But it looks like it's going to be an incredible kit, and I think they might. Don't count me on this, but they might do something like the Rohan Stronghold kit.
Right, Dewi's announced that they're doing the Rohan Stronghold kit for Dol Guldur, guys. You heard it here first.
They possibly might do it.
Is that the only release for that new book? That's going to be the only
you've
kit,
got
right?
Witch King as well.
Witch King.
Yes.
The plastic Witch King.
Technically part of that book, is he?
But he's coming out at the same time. And moving on to my number one, it is the Rohan Stronghold box.
The segue.
Because you got 6 houses and 2 palisade sets for.
Can you still get it?
No, it was like a limited order.
Yeah, I feel like this one doesn't count.
But bearing in mind the houses were 25 each and the palisades were 40 each, the box was 150 quid. So that's basically 2 palisade kits free. So yeah, it was just incredible. I've still got mine in my garage with the cellophane still on it because
it's one of the.
Why have you put cellophane on a garage?
Keep the heat in.
East Anglia Hobbit community was going to get one for the clubhouse and get James Richardson to paint it. And by the time we cobbled together, we can afford to do this, and we went to go and get it. It had been out like 8 hours, and it was now gone.
Dewi had bought them all.
No, we only got one. We only got one. So, but yeah, it was one of these things that me, Clubly, Sean, and Luke all went. That's really cool. It saves us a lot of money. I think we just put it on a credit card, or someone had 150 quid and just went, cool, I'll get it and we'll sort it out later. Just one of those kind of like, not impulse things, but just a couple of moments, just go for it.
Yeah. It's one of those moments that Games Workshop did a sale.
Yes.
So you gotta jump on it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Gethin, you're number one.
My number one is the new Saruman engraver.
Oh, I was probably going to say Helmingas or something.
Because that Saruman is beautiful.
I've had the pleasure of chopping up the mounted one and the plastic Grima, and it's really good.
It's really nice.
It's really good.
I think I actually prefer the Grima.
Isn't it really, really similar?
Yeah, I didn't like it because it was literally just him, but slightly twisted.
It's similar, but
I like the original one.
I think it's fun. I quite like it. It's fun to paint.
It just didn't feel like it justified a different sculpt in the way that the Gwaihir one didn't.
Gwaihir one.
Well, the Gwaihir Fine one only came out because that was originally going to be the original Gwaihir Finecast release.
Oh,
but
God,
they couldn't
that would be
do it.
Horrible in Finecast.
But they designed it like that, and they're like, "Oh crap, we can't do it." And so,
really?
like, they basically put that to the side a bit, like the old Keep of the Dungeon, which they then released on Forge World. And then they were like, which is why I think the Gwaihir Great Eagle ended up being so boring, because they had to come up with that because they could do it for Games Workshop, because of Forge World's thing, they then could re-release the actual cool one.
Yeah, nice.
Or actually release it.
Nice.
Yeah. That was the only reason we got a Forge World one, because they were like, "Well, we've already got it designed, and this is what we intended to do originally."
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice. The Saruman and Grima are really cool, and I've seen so many really good paint jobs on them.
Which kind of sucks that Isengard's not as cool as it used to be. So I don't get to use it as much.
It's still good. It's just.
It is, but I don't have broken berserkers.
Just good without Saruman. CJ, you're number one.
I really like the new plastic tree beard.
Nice.
It's just so detailed. There's a little snail crawling up his beard that I just love. I don't need it. I've got the metal one. I don't use it. I literally wanted to buy this one to paint it. Yeah. I hate painting. That's how good a sculpt is. There's a merry crotch bulge, and one of his hands is enormous, but the tree beard is absolutely gorgeous.
His hand's got to be enormous to deal with that bulge, Sean. But yeah, no, it is incredible. And I remember we had a little Discord hangout. Were you there, Ali? When they were doing the Twitch stream, and there was like
part of it.
8 or 10 of us just watching the new, like, what they were showing and whatnot. And when Treebeard came out, we were all like mega impressed.
I remember I was building my board at the time.
Yeah.
So I was only half like in the stream. Like, I could hear you guys, but I couldn't really participate. So I was gassing myself out with like propellant and stuff.
Oh dear. What's your number one then, Ali? I'm gonna take a wild guess.
Do you need to ask?
Moria Goblins.
Yes.
The Lake Town section. Build
What
Lake
mainly
Town
confused me
houses.
all is all of your number ones. It sounds like you pronounce Grimhammers differently to me. But, yeah, no, my number one's Grimhammers. It's just hands down the best kit, and also one of my favorite profiles in the game now. I think what I love is that the kit was so good when the models were crap. Everyone was coming up with reasons that they could use the kit and convert them into like
Yeah.
warriors with spears and shields and stuff like that, because that's how like nice the kit was.
Was it Shadow and Flame that did the conversion
Yeah.
pack?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And so yeah, like I painted one army before, and and loved the Grimhammers, and then I made another one, and then I did the Grimhammers for that, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to make this warriors out of it, and so like I did that as well, and I've got some more on my painting table for when I get back to like do some more.
God's sake.
I've even been tempted to make an Iron Hills army out of the Grimhammer models. I own one. It's just because I like the models that much more than like everything else.
They are very utilitarian in that. So you can turn them into wearable warriors. You can turn them into Kazakh Iron Hills.
Oh, I didn't even think about Kazakh.
Yeah, I've seen someone do that. I thought about it. You'd probably, for me, you'd want to do a head swap to have like the Kazakh head.
Yeah, or just press mold the front of it on there.
Yeah.
Shave a bit off if you need
to.
to.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Kazakh army out of like Grimhammers apparently now.
Ali's just trying to work out what evil army he can run with Grimhammers.
Yeah.
Like, what conversion can you do with Grimhammers for an evil army?
I am now actually trying to work that out.
I don't know what
I think it's a bit short.
Yeah.
Is there anything in heavy armor but Gundabad's and Nuriks?
Not really. I mean, the fact that evil troops basically cap at defense 6 is a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
I could paint the armor leather.
That's a good idea.
And then,
it's got, like,
then what?
And then use them as, I don't know, orcs, orcs, and change their heads.
I mean, you could do Berserkers.
I think Black Humanoids you could do if they weren't short.
Yeah, maybe.
That is if they were taller, like, because they would sort of work. But I don't know.
Blackguard of Barad-dûr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd probably make a decent Nazgûl Doggledor conversion out of some of them. Bit short, but anyway.
I'm just gonna have an army of short, like.
Yeah.
Josh Devoy's comment. These are my Black Dragon Easterlings. They're a little bit shorter than the others.
Yeah. He's also
it makes it easy to tell which one's a which. So, you know.
Oh yeah, easy glance. Well, he said the new Witch King, which is quite good from the way it's customizable. But I'm not really a fan of.
I'm waiting to see it. I don't like
the one with the helmet is nice.
But
the one which is the Nazgûl hit isn't. It's pretty much my policy on it.
I think until I see it in person, I'm with Ali on this. With the helmet, amazing. The horse looks incredible. Just the pose and how dynamic it is. On with the hood, looks a little bit weird. But
in regards to what Josh said about surprised not see Fell Beast on the list, I honestly preferred the metal one.
Yeah,
I thought the metal one was so cool.
See, I've got 3 plastic, 1 metal. The metal one's the Witch King one. And I think that's cool. The annoying thing about that one is the spines, the little spiny bits out of its spine is flimsy. They bend a little bit, like all metal. You try and bend it back, and then they bend the other way, and you try and bend it back, and eventually they just snap off. I think the plastic one's a little bit more robust, even though it's thinner. But
it's not a bad kit.
I
don't think.
Yeah.
Unlike the Eagles, it didn't improve upon the existing model. I don't think.
So I've tweaked one with a heat gun. I've only done 1 wing. But
I like it when I've seen people do that.
But you can, with a heat gun, being really, really careful, you can manipulate it. So I'm planning to get more Fell Beasts. Thank you, CJ.
I like how you literally didn't even have to move to grab that.
I tried it a long time ago.
And here's one that I prepared earlier.
So yeah,
tried
Dewi
it
is
a long
basically
time ago.
Art Attack. You don't see it,
Yeah.
but behind the camera, he's got conversions of everything just available.
There's the other wing. So yeah, currently.
He's going around the corner.
Currently, it would look like this. Which
I did like
a little awkward, but no. The plan is to do that and then have him obviously sitting like kind of upright, like he's just swooping in.
Yeah.
So that's the plan, and then eventually when I get some more, again, thank you, CJ. Then I will do more stuff like that, and I plan to repaint my others with my airbrush to make them a little bit.
I think
cooler.
I prefer the old Fell Beast, but the new Fell Beast is as Keith said in chat, it's great for converting.
Yeah.
You see some great conversions, like here's the guy who has the Easterlings.
Phil Beale.
Yeah, that's a really nice Fell Beast.
Yeah, the one that's kind of crawling along the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff, which obviously it's a lot harder to do with the metal one.
Yeah. And like Jamie. Kakar. And then Jamie says he's
That growl from CJ.
It was a cough, but
it came out like.
But no,
and overdrive vocal. Yeah, I'm just very fond of the metal Witch King one because it's got that sort of claws out and it's got the dead Rohan on the base. I just think it's very dynamic. I actually brought a friend to come and see Ardacon a couple of years ago, and he said, "Look, what are all these levitating worms around?" No, because so many people have just abandoned the wings because they just get in the way.
I leave the wings on until they get in the way, and then I'll remove them because I don't want the wings to fall off.
No getting.
So I don't glue them because I need to transport it.
Magnets.
So if someone knocks it, then it'll fall.
You're getting into the magnet game now anyway.
For the bases, that's easy. There's a little area you can glue them. I have to mix.
Drill a hole in the side and do magnets.
I got a drill. I haven't got a drill that big.
You don't need it. You just literally need the drill bit and a pin vise.
There's so many jokes that could go on. But I am actually going to have to shoot off, by the way, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
We
will continue without you.
Talk about the GT.
Yeah,
the London GT. Yeah.
Adios.
See you in a bit, Ali. Bye.
Doodles.
So.
Thank God he's gone.
Yeah, now we can finally. Yeah.
Now we can finally get on with it. Right. We will
Top
go.
5 things about Ali that really pissed me off.
So, we will jump. CJ, you're on a lovely double screen again. We will jump straight into the rules pack for the London GT, which you are going to, my good friend.
I am. It's my first event in 17 odd months.
Yeah, it should be
19 odd months.
Should be fun. Should be fun. So we'll just fly through this pretty quickly. Just take out the key parts, and then we'll move on to your lists and have a look at them and see what we think. I've had a brief look from when you sent them earlier, but nothing more than that. So, introduction: the London Grand Tournament. The rules pack contains normal rules pack things. It's an 80-point GBHL event, so hopefully some fluffier lists. We will see.
Yeah, some competing, but overall it's not going to be cheese galore.
Yeah, nice. Sam Palmer is the TO. Contents. So, what is it? It is a tournament consisting of 2 rounds of 400 points, 2 rounds of 600 points, and then 2 rounds of 800 points. And a 2-day singles event is this weekend coming. It is at Lee Valley Indoor Athletic Centre. That's quite a mouthful to say. So essentially North London, if I'm correct.
Northeast, yeah.
Northeast London. Awesome. Buy tickets, event times, army selection. Here we are. Players have the option of bringing either a good or an evil army, or one good and one evil army. which I like tournaments like that. Give you the options. We do it. I know Matt King does it. Obviously, the London GT does it. Don't know if Ali was going to do it, but like along those lines, I think it's really good and it allows people to bring more fun things for when they want.
I think it's. Oh, go on, CJ.
From a competitive standpoint, you're probably better playing 6 games with the same army, but I prefer having a bit of fun. So with the fact that it's escalation and it's good and evil means I will never use the same army twice.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun to that.
So on the competitive note, I think you can be more competitive if you're bringing both good and evil.
Yeah, because you guarantee, if you take both lists, you're guaranteeing that your good army plays evil and that your evil plays good. So you can tailor it to be like, okay, this evil list is good. Well, Army of Gothmog. You wouldn't take Army of Gothmog as a single list. You'd only take that as the 2 lists because it benefits them.
See,
actually,
I was going to say, as you mentioned that's the one where you kind of
that's
go,
one. Okay,
that can probably be good against both. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Shadow Lord.
Yes.
Because
shamans. Just shamans in general.
As a Moria player, I don't take them to mixed events because all you need is a Wraith and your shaman is shut off and your game is over.
Yeah.
More or less.
Especially now is because the Fury nerf, you basically only care about the courage check.
Yeah.
You don't care about the save anymore, really.
No.
If you've got the Harbinger dropping you the courage 1 and they've got a boatload of Black Numenorians or what, you just had it at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely get your meaning, and yeah, like I said, I think if you take both, you're probably in for a better shout of being competitive. Like Gethin says, you can just you discount your army. Your army will only face half of the available profiles, not all of them. So
it's like with my good old Helminger's elves. I don't have to fight elves, so I'm always going to be high fight.
Yeah. So all armies from any of the current rulebooks, including legendary legions, will be allowed. Green and yellow alliances are allowed, and as your army grows, you're permitted to change force as long as all models are legally allowed to do it. E.g., changing pure Den of Dunharrow to the Return of the King legendary legion by adding Aragorn. Cool. If you bring both good and evil army, you will play 1 400, 1 600, 1 800 point game with each army. That's good.
Wait. Will you?
So
it's not guaranteed that you play good v evil.
Oh, fair point. Yeah, if I have to play 2, good players in the first 2 rounds, I'll have my Moria both times. And actually, when that happens,
no, you won't. No, you won't.
Because it's if you do bring a good and evil army, you'll play 1 400 point, 600 point, 800 point game with each army. So first game you'd play your goblins, second game you'd play your good, no matter what your opponents have.
Yeah.
Is that enforced?
That's what it says in the army selection bit.
Because not everybody has 2 different armies.
No, that's what it says in the rules book.
So I don't know how they're gonna. Okay, so actually, my Moria could wind up fighting an evil army.
Possibly.
Yes.
Oh, deep joy. This is like if you don't enforce it, that's what ends up.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure how they would go about it.
Don't know.
So if both players have 1 army, they'll play with these armies as normal, as pairings are determined by overall rank. There may be cases where both armies are either play good or evil. In these instances, refer to the rules. If one player has 1 army, the other has 1 good and 1 evil, the player with multiple armies. We use the army of the opposite alignment. Okay, so that contradicts. And then if both players have helpful. 1 good and 1 evil, both players will roll off to see. Okay, so in the gameplay matchmaking section, it's the normal thing.
Okay. How weird.
In the army selection thing, I assume that's just grammatically.
Yeah. You might even be able to say to your opponent, did you play good or evil last time? Do you want to do the opposite?
Yeah. That would be the first thing I would say. Army building still. Your force will start at 400 points. There are no restrictions on how these points should be spent, except that your army must still be legal and red alliances are banned. Unless you have an idea for a specifically fluffy or thematic list, please email TO in advance for approval.
I feel so bad for Red Alliances
Why?
because they get shafted for no reason. Like,
Because they're horrible to deal with.
no, the Spider Queen Shade list is horrible to deal with, but Red Alliances in general get punished for that. But the Spider Queen list didn't get affected much.
What Red Alliance do you want to run that you feel is being hard done by?
I want to run an Army of Lake Town list with mounted Rohan converted models, but I can't because it's a Red Alliance and you get shafted like crazy. So I basically there's no point playing it. But it's like, it's the thing of rather than fixing the issues, it's just a blanket rule which is punishing a bunch of stuff for no reason.
It didn't exist anywhere near the same time.
Yeah. I'm fine running. No, I'm fine with it being a Red Alliance. It's just the fact that the Red Alliance is like that gets punished heavily because of Spider Queen Shade, rather than Spider Queen Shade being nerfed.
Shade's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. But Red Alliances keep getting additional penalties put on top. It's just like
blame Matt.
but why?
Yeah, blame.
But you fix that by fixing the issue rather than just being like, okay, no one gets to play Red Alliance.
So how would you fix it?
Or just make the Spider Queen a minor hero unless you have a pure Spider army.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of the Denizens, right? That it's meant to be a beast army.
I think she's a Vala.
Yeah. So make her minor hero, but if it's
I think
army,
I think a Fortitude's fine. Because then you can't
ally, and then just make it a Valor for the army bonus.
Well, the army bonus is all about you can have, war bands of 2 spiders and that sort of thing. So yeah, her heroic tier is almost null and void in her own list. So
it's like rather than fixing that, rather than changing that one thing, a change was implemented to affect all Red Alliances.
The only thing that would completely kill is her with Drizak and Ashrak. Yeah. And that really needs to be its own thing anyway, but
yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with as a player who plays green and pure and Legend Legions. I am happy with the alliances and how they nerf stuff that just purely didn't exist at the same time. Like that's fine by me.
Yeah.
I get people want to do.
I just dislike the fact that you.
So what is your Lake Town Rohan idea?
So it'd be to run Lake Town Guard with Reds of Rohan, to have like the cavalry stuff within the Lake Town.
Why not ally in Mirkwood riders or goat riders?
Because I don't want them to be elves or dwarves. I want them to be men.
Yeah, but you could just say
what Lake Town would have.
But you can say they are men. Like you can model them as men, just say they're using the profile of vertical cap.
I feel that's a lot more confusing than having them as men, though. Like being like, this man, it's actually an elf, rather than being like, this is a rider of Rohan.
But would you convert the rider of Rohan to look like a Lake Town Guard?
Yeah.
And use what? The rider of Rohan profile?
Yeah.
With what hero?
Just like a captain.
I was going to say, we're diving quite deep into this. but
where were they keeping horses in Lake Town?
I don't know.
It's not very conducive to
no, but
raising.
It's the thing of, like, I mean, I've got a general issue with the analyze matrix in general, just because of the limitations you get with customizability.
Steve Bonnar, there are no longer.
Even more.
Sorry, Steve Bonnar, there are no longer 5/5 Black Numenorians, not in this edition.
Oh yeah, I didn't see
also,
that.
his point about Fury nerf, doesn't Malbeth run by a different rule?
Yep.
Malbeth's different. Yeah.
So I don't think the Fury nerf affects Malbeth at all.
I think that's a separate
I think
statement.
I think he's saying Fury nerf cut him deep, but Malbeth stands
Damn
strong.
it, Malbeth.
Stands strong.
Because Malbeth's still a 5+, whereas Fury's a 6+.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But yes, back to London GT.
Cool.
Yes. So, after the first 2 games, you can add 200 points worth of models to create a 600-point force, after which you will expand a further 200 points for rounds 5 and 6. If you're looking to add something over 200 points, you can drop some warrior models from your existing list. However, hero models cannot be removed this way unless remain part of your list. The only exception is if you plan on using a fluffy/thematic list or an all-hero list, in which case please email the TO in advance for approval.
So as we were saying before, somebody's using Lurtz's scouts, and then Lurtz will die, and they'll do Ugluk scouts instead. So it's a nice idea.
Yeah.
What I was going to do potentially is have it be Lake Town Guard with Master Alfred Braga. They capture the dwarves and then put in Bard and his 3 children, and that's when Smaug attacks. And then it would be and then I'd change it to Survivors of Lake Town, where it's the ones that are fighting in the streets of Dale. So you get to keep Bard and his children, and potentially chuck in Gandalf or Hilda or Percy, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And it sounds thematic in theory, but actually, Lake Town Guard are very good for low points, and Survivors are much better for high points. So
correct.
A bit of a cheese. And I had a chat with Sam, and he just said, I haven't actually got 40 Lake Town Guard models. What I'd have to do is use militia as guards.
Yeah.
And the rule book says you use them the other way, not that way. So
yes.
fair enough. I just said, fine, I'll just go Survivors then. Let's just be easier.
Yeah.
I think that the scout players should play it through the films. So the first army is Lurtz from Fellowship, then it's Ugluks from Two Towers, and then it's wiped out in the Return of the King.
So just he plays nothing in the final round.
In
theory,
they should have won. They shouldn't have died to the others.
I know you can't run Lurtz's scouts without Lurtz. I think that's part of the rule.
It has to be.
And you have to have Grishnak in Ugluk scouts.
Nope, you just have to have Ugluk.
Okay, so what I was going to say is you could have Ugluk's scouts, just Ugluk Uruk-hai scouts, and then you add Grishnak for the 800 points.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
So,
you can still do that.
You could even get Maher in there as well, because he comes through Fangorn, doesn't he?
Well, he's in Lurtz's scouts anyway.
He's not actually there though, is he? Because
no.
doesn't Maher arrive during the battle from Fangorn?
Or just before, I think.
In the movies, he's there the whole time, but
I guess that's what they're going off.
Yeah.
He's Maggoty Bread Man. Can't forget Maher, the Maggoty Bread Man.
Oh, is he Maggoty Bread Man? Didn't know that.
So
anybody that's got one line of dialogue is a named character in SPG. With 311 or whatever.
Yeah.
Fair.
Painting requirements. All models should be painted and based to tabletop standard. This typically means 3 colours applied in a cohesive and coherent format. Models should have some sort of basing treatment. Please use common sense if determining if a model is painted to tabletop standard. You have to ask, then it probably isn't. Unpainted models will be removed from play. I might steal that because I think that's a really good, succinct and just clear. Here is the painting requirements.
Mm-hmm. The fact that it's just like use common sense if you have to ask. No.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's like when people are just like, if I paint it brown, is it fine?
No, it's not.
If I spray Leadbelcher of my Minas Tirith, is it fine? No.
Yeah. So what you need to bring, obviously, your painted and based army. That's very clever. Following on, 2 copies of your army list. Players pack, dice and tape measure, rules, markers, etc.
The general stuff.
Bit about registration. Gameplay. So this is what part of what Gethin spoke about earlier. So players will be drawn randomly in the first round, with a Swiss system being used. So essentially, first be second, second be fourth, third be fourth, fifth be sixth, etc. For rounds 2 to 5. Winners are pitted against Other winners are similar scores to etc.
Swiss.
Yeah. Players will not play the same opponent twice in rounds 2 to 4. However, that is possible. You may have to repeat opponent in round 5 if you're on the top 5 tables.
So only 5 games? There's 6
No,
games.
there's 6 games. I'm wondering if
this is a copy and
he has
paste.
copied and pasted a lot of this.
Yeah.
I had to correct him. We don't use the rules book for the scenarios anymore. We use the match play guide.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I think this is simply just a copy and paste error.
Basically, the last round you can play repeats, which is general on most tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
surprised he's put about just for the top 5 tables. Why not every table? But
I guess if it's other tables, it doesn't matter. He's doing top 5 tables because that can affect the final 3.
Yeah, but
and you could, if you're on table 5, you'd get knocked down to play person on table 6, which is easier matchup.
Yeah, I still like for mine. It's just a blanket last round.
I think,
you play who you're drawn against, like
because then you get the pure standings.
Yeah. So if both players have one army, they will play their armies as normal. As pairings are determined by overall rank, there may be cases where both players are playing as either good or evil. In these instances, referred to good versus good and evil versus evil in the rules book. If one player has one army and the other player has both, the player with multiple armies will use the one that's opposite alignment. This is what you said earlier. If both players have one good, one evil, both players will roll off, the winner selecting which army they wish to play with. Oh, interesting. That's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, because you can look at the 2 matchups and get a reasonably good idea of which one is better for you.
Because
I prefer just one roll.
Yeah.
I prefer not picking because then before the game begins, one player gets an advantage.
Yeah.
Especially an 80-pointer. An 80-pointer, I'd much prefer the randomness and just be like all right, that's what we're playing.
Like the GT is where it's what the youngest player rolls the dice.
Yeah, youngest player rolls dice, 1, 2, 3, they play evil.
Yeah. Like that
makes you feel less guilty too. I'm picking the one where I have the distinct advantage.
I was gonna say that's the thing, yeah.
And it's real fuck you if they go, I know I've got the disadvantage, but I'm gonna pick that one and gonna try and beat you anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's like imagine someone's got I don't know, a Warg Rider army against hobbits and it's recon, and they're like, "Oh, I know which one I'm picking."
So then that doesn't necessarily encourage the other guy to play nicely either.
No, it does not.
I think having it random is better for sportsmanship.
Yeah. Because then you also don't get the sour taste in your mouth when the opponent does pick the highly advantaged matchup.
Yeah, and like I said, I think CJ, like you said, I would, if someone went, cool, this one clearly gives me an advantage of you, I'd be like, cool, I'm going to play everything by the book as much as possible and call you on everything.
Yeah.
Because, but then...
I can see why he's done it, because then it's like, you get to pick the army you want to play with, so it's like, oh, I don't want to play with Memoria again, so play this one. But then I feel generally, so if I was playing Dewi in an event and I was like, I've played this army 3 times in a row, do you mind if I play this? I feel like as long as it's not going to be a complete counter matchup, Dewi would be like, yeah. He knows he's going to beat me anyway, so.
I'm going to play Army of the Dead at Ardacon for the 6th time in a
row. Sportsmanship. All games should be played in a friendly, albeit competitive manner. Any player not acting accordingly may be penalised. In the unlikely event you have grievance with another player's behaviour, please raise this to the judge. We're opening it on a yellow card, red card system. Please bear in mind that we're only able to adjudicate in the situation if we're called to the table. Repeat offenders may be asked to leave with no ticket refund.
I'd like to see them actually enforce that.
Kick someone out.
I think I've heard of one tournament where someone was warned and DQ'd from a game, not necessarily the whole tournament, and that was Ardacon.
I'm not going to name any names, but I've had to. Names. Yeah. Josh, if Josh is still in the chair, hell no. But I had to force someone to lose their last 2 games because they were called out on something, then it turned out they'd carried on doing it.
Okay.
Like, through the event.
Okay.
I can't think of. I know of people. I think there's been 2 events where people have walked out, but I don't know if that's like anything to do with cheating or anything like that.
Okay. So the next line is
there was one that was about cheating. There was one I
Okay.
think they just left.
If you
they lost or
suspect your
something.
opponent of cheating intentionally, please notify head judge. Any players who found playing outside of the boundaries of the rules will be notified. Where cheating is intentional, the player will be asked to leave with no refund. If unintentional, warning will be given and your next opponent will be notified.
How would you prove it? Because they'll just gaslight and say it never happened.
So
And it's your word against
Very
his.
good question.
I actually this
Yeah,
actually
it's almost
happened
as
in
if
my
it's
event.
happened to me before.
So I actually got the person intentionally cheating because they were playing a rule a certain way through the games. I asked their opponents if that's how they were playing the rule. They said yes. I went to him and said, please tell me the rule. And he told me the actual rule, not the rule he'd been using.
Oh,
So I'm like,
sneaky Gethin.
So you're cheating.
Sneaky Gethin.
Because if they told me the rule was wrong, I was like, well, you've been playing it wrong.
Yeah.
I'll give you a bit of a benefit of the doubt, but it's like, no, you get last 2 games just 12-0 losses.
So what do you do? Do you get the person on the next table to say, can you listen to this, and then have the discussion just so that you've got a witness? Or
Which means
and then
as
that
a
puts
player at
them
the
on
table.
the spot. If you are about to say to your opponent, you've been cheating, you're using the rules wrong, and in order to prevent them from being able to just deny anything ever happened, do you try and get somebody else to pay attention? Or does that put the person on the next table under the spot in a unkind way?
I wouldn't pull people who are playing in a game into it. Once again, I've had an issue where someone was against me cheating. Luckily, it was near the end of the round, so there were people nearby. I was like, I literally did this. I did this. I measured it. I said, do you agree with this? And then you did it. And the guy was like, yeah, he actually did that. It's like, that was a lucky situation, but it's very hard to prove if no one's there, and especially if a TO is not there.
Yeah.
The worst is the cocked dice situations where someone obviously it's not quite cheating, but it's the same kind of concept of someone puts cocked dice down. You can't come to an agreement about it being cocked. One of you goes to get the ref. The other person then puts a dice on top of it to prove that it's cocked, and then the dice slides and it's flat.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yeah,
it's so hard to prove it unless there's someone literally there.
Yeah. So
I don't know, what would
It's
you
hard.
do if you want to call your opponent out on cheating?
I
How do you go about it?
honestly don't know.
Okay.
I don't think I've been in a situation where someone's been cheating or pushing the rules or anything like that. I've called the T over because of rules and distances and like stuff like that. But
I think the best thing you can do is call the TO over, make them aware that you've got the issue. So point out, if it's somebody you know, be like, you're playing this wrong. You've been measuring 10 inches, not 8 inches for your scouts' movements. Then if they keep doing it, then you call T over and be like, I've said to him that I think that he's doing this. He's continuing to do it. And that like the TO then gives them a warning and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those things where they have to do it multiple times for a TO to get it.
Yeah.
Or
it's one
if
of
it's
these he
over,
said, she said things, isn't it?
yeah. Or if it's over something like the one ring, whereas like there's a rule that they're playing completely wrong at the wrong one ring, you could be like, go to talk to the TO, say, I think this is happening. The TO comes over and is like, please, can you explain the rule? Like I did with the one I said earlier. And then if they say it wrong, then
yeah, cool. Well,
but it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. We'll move on because I see the time is dragging on. Like with any FAQs, up till the 1st of September will be used, which is fine because they come out August and February. Players are encouraged to solve rules disputes between themselves, check rules, FAQs, either roll off or call the judge.
Always call a judge.
Judge's decision or final. Yeah, always call it. Like, look through the rules as much as you can in the FAQs and then call a judge.
I hate the whole roll-off thing.
Yeah. If a specific player is found to be repeatedly calling judges for rules inquiries, they may be penalised for time wasting. Depends how relevant the queries are.
Yeah.
I think entirely. So then, timekeeping. Players are requested to be at the tables on time for the start of the round. If player is over 15 minutes late, they will count as missing their game and the opponent will score maximum points for the game. If your opponent is not at the table by the cut-off time, please contact the judge. Timekeeping warning.
I've heard that happen. Somebody tried to go, you're 16 minutes late, I'm having the 12-0.
If it's in the rules pack and that's what it is, then yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard to be on time.
I think there was one event that had this in it, and on
it's always the Sunday.
Was it on the Sunday? But it was the game after lunch, because in the morning they made an announcement saying that lunch was going to be shorter.
Right, fair enough.
But then people were still up to lunch and were like, oh, what time do we have to be back? Check the rules pack. Obviously, the rules pack says the original time. So they came back late, and it's like, it's not really fair.
Well, they should have announced it at the end when people were handing in results. They should have said, this is the new lunchtime. That's the TO's fault. That's not.
Yeah.
So timekeeping warnings will be announced with 60 minutes and 30 minutes remaining. At the 30-minute warning, players should discuss if they will reach 5 game turns. If it's not realistic, players should call a judge who will set an expected length. That's weird.
That's 5 game turns in total, not in the next 30 minutes, because that would be a bit.
I don't quite.
Yeah.
Essentially, to me, I'd just go, right, we'll keep playing until we say otherwise. Deliberately slow playing an opponent is considered unsportsmanlike, will be penalised with a yellow-red card as appropriate. Judge's discretion. Players may be required to use a chess clock. In the unlikely event you're required to do so, the judge will clearly explain how this will function.
So I don't think slow playing is, once again, incredibly hard. The only way that you can prove slow playing is if the person's literally like, there's 10 seconds left in this round, I'm not going to roll this dice or anything like that. That's obviously slow playing. But otherwise, people think at completely different speeds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they could get to the end of the game, it's the last turn, and I'm trying to work out what's the best thing to do. Do I charge it here? Do I go here and shoot? Do I move over here? Do I do this? So slow playing is really hard to prove.
Yeah.
And SPG doesn't work with a chess clock.
No.
Imagine playing all hero against goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it unfortunately doesn't work.
Yeah, we'll skip the dropouts because you don't want dropouts. So the events team will randomly determine which scenario is in use before the round begins. We'll randomly use the scenarios found in the match play guide, selecting a scenario from each pool. Each scenario pool can only be played once. Games will be on a 4x4 board. Once time is called, players finish the turn they're on. We'll be using
This will be my first event using the match play one, so I'm looking forward to some of the new scenarios.
Nice. Have you played all the new scenarios?
I've played Assassination once in person, and then the rest of it's just been TTS, if at all.
Oh, you
played Rescue, and that's it.
As long as you've played it if you're on TTS. We'll be using a 20-0 system to award a player between 0 and 20 tournament points each game. This score is worked out in 2 steps. Add up all the victory points you achieved in the game as per the scenario conditions. The player with the highest score is the winning player, and the player with the lower score is the losing player.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah. Subtract the losing player's score from the winning player's score and consult the table below. Once you've worked out how many tournaments points you scored, submit to a judge. So, for a victory, we're going to have to do the funky.
So a draw is 10-10, and then it's basically 1-0 is 11-9, 2-0 is 12-8. It just keeps going up.
However, it stops at 10, which we had a brief discussion before we came online, and saying that if you don't have a banner in your army,
you can get max tournament points.
You can still get maximum tournament points. CJ with both his lists, which we'll come to in a second.
It also means that, I don't know if this is possible, can you get a 12-2 game
Yeah, I'm sure you
There
can.
might be a scenario.
You can get an 11-1.
Probably.
You can get
So-
11. You can get 11-1 game.
Yeah, 11-1's the same as a 10-0 or a 12-2 or a 12-0.
Mhm.
Well, you think domination? You could get all 5 objectives. Kill your opponent's lead. Well, you can get 12-1 leader. Well, you can get 12-2. Yeah, you get all your opponent's objective. Or you get all the 5 domination objectives. You kill their leader, break them, and they kill your leader and break you.
No, not break.
No, domination is 1-on-1.
Mhm.
Oh, is it? Okay, right.
Yeah. It's just
So,
1
yeah.
point for breaking.
So
yeah.
a 12-2 is the same as a 12-0 and same as a 10-0. I think the main reason that they've done it is because then it becomes a nice 20-0.
Yeah.
Not
Completely-
22 minus 2.
Completely agree. Completely.
Which is
agree.
fair.
Yeah. So
I
it's an.
don't think I've ever seen something like that. And I've definitely seen major victories. Like if it's a 12-0, it's extra points. If it's a 6-0, it's these points type things. I've never seen every single point.
Yeah.
That's a very precise method.
Yeah. Agreed.
I've played this system before. It's good fun. They do it quite a lot in London.
I think
Okay. Cool.
it's pretty good, to be honest, because it
rewards
gonna
every victory point.
rewards every
reward.
victory point, and it also means that the standings are gonna work better.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna have multiple people on. Oh, I got a 10-0 victory, but you got a 1-0 victory while playing the game.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Speaking of which, they do have some tiebreakers here, and I love the decider at the end there.
So we are coming on to scoring. So game score.
Oh god, I hate that. I'm sorry to you, but I hate that. I hate that. Just see
That's
what it is. But I mean, yeah. So
at the end of the tournament, the most tournament points will be crowned gaming champion. With most wins being utilised as the first tiebreaker, victory points as the second tiebreaker. I presume the victory points scored. As the second tiebreaker, the most amount of sportsman votes as the third tiebreaker, and it's a very unlikely event that occurs that 2 players have identical scores. A best of 3 rock paper scissors will decide the winner.
I mean, obviously, it is very unlikely, but oh god, imagine being like, if it's going to happen to everyone. Is Club League going? Because if Club League was going, it would happen.
No, he's not.
No. Oh, okay.
But that would
like,
make me chuckle.
Club League
so
finally
much.
he gets first place. He's like, I've made Ali proud. I've made Dewi proud. And then it comes down to rock, paper, scissors against somebody and loses.
What it'll be a rock, paper, scissors for third place, and he'll choke and get fourth. So painting score. On the second day, person will be asked to consider best painted. Any player who wants, just set your army up, etc. To ensure all of our best painted nominees are up to the standard expected of such a prestigious award, only of armies that meet the following criteria will be eligible for awards.
I don't think that's fair.
Huh?
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
To put a limitation on best painted, because the whole point of best painted is its opinions.
I think it's because there's a lot of people going, and they want to, not have to look at all 120 odd armies or whatever.
Yeah.
So all it's basically said is, you've got to be painted to a minimum. It's got to be based, and then there's a few speculative ones there.
So it has your army has a moderate amount of extra detail applied to it. How do you define extra detail?
Mm-hmm.
That would be my first question. Is that highlighting? Is it edge highlighting? Is it dry brushing? Is it whatever? The models in your army follow a theme and look like an army. Okay, kind of understand that one.
But what happens if you got an alliance? Does that mean yellow alliances can't enter?
Depends.
Yellow.
Depends if they're themed.
So you can do Fellowship, Lothlorien, and Rohan. I got Merriam. No, I don't know. Boromir and Pippin roll around with Galadriel and Theodred.
Then you deserve everything coming to you.
It's Yellow Alliance.
The models in models in your army were painted by yourself. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
We've had this before as a discussion. I don't get how you're allowed to enter stuff that somebody else painted for you because you paid them, and you say that's mine. I get the prize.
I don't get it either. The fact that most best painted awards are either paints or like painting
Yeah, that's
implements,
fair.
and you're like, oh god. Your army has a wow factor that makes it stop and stare. Again,
That's
subjective.
situational.
That's very
Yeah.
odd. Yeah. Then sportsmanship and theme, they're just skipping it because of my bladder's filling up and I've got enough lists to talk about. There is a competition there that I'm quite interested in. There's it's not the painting competition, it's a kit bash. So you get to sit at your desk one of the lunches and there's just like a box of random bits they'll give you.
Okay.
And it's up to you in 10 minutes to make the most interesting character you can out of it. And that for me sounds, I can't paint, but I can super glue heads where they shouldn't be.
Does it count if you super glued it to your finger?
Yeah, I am the model.
I remember they used to do this at Gamers Day, and somebody from our store went along and was just looking for bits he wanted and just super gluing it together, knowing that he could then just break it apart. So it was just a mess of just parts, and he just took it home and then just dismantled it and used it for conversions.
That's
genius. That's what I'm now going to do.
I was going to say, that is absolutely amazing. Right, we will move on to your lists, Mr. CJ.
So I think that's everything, because it's...
Yeah, there's the awards.
General awards.
Yeah.
Best painted for each faction. It's cool.
I didn't realise they were doing best painted good and evil, yeah. And then it's just best runner-up, third place, wooden spoon, best painted good and evil, most sporting.
Most sporting, the players with 5 nominations or more for most sporting for their opponents.
Oh, what if nobody gets?
Yeah,
that?
you don't usually get that many. Like 3 or 4 is usually the sportsmanship.
Yeah.
What if half the players get it?
Yeah. Bonner's on about kit bashing. Ooh, Philby's troll. So we will run through your lists relatively rapidly.
They haven't got enough Helmingers. I don't like it.
Oh, God's sake. Not if you bang on about Helmingers the whole time.
Which one are you starting with? Because I've got a delay on my feed, obviously.
We'll go through your evil list. I'm literally going through the order you sent them. So it's 400, 600, 800 evil.
Oh, bloody hell, that's small. Right, okay, so Wiltshire is not usable at 400 points unless you're going to really, really try and squeeze it in. So anyway, we've got Groblog as a leader, has got strike and defense. He's pretty handy. He can boost the fight value of people around him. You then throw in a captain for March and a shaman for Fury. And then the thing was going to be whether I could put another captain in and another warband, get to like 45 models and be unbreakable, more or less, and just flood the board. And I thought, well, that's not nice for my opponent. So actually what I'll do is cave trolls I don't like because their courage is crap. The defense 6, they get taken out by big heroes or magic or siege engines. Probably not going to see a lot of that at 400 points. So I thought, for the hell of it, I'm bringing Smashy with the hammer. I'm going to have some fun with that for 400 points.
I think that's a really good shout at 400 points.
That's going to be scary. What was going to deal with the cave troll at 400? That's also going to deal with 31 goblins.
Yeah.
Don't know. I actually forgot to put
you've got a bat swarm, and you've got a bat swarm as well. So
mandatory bat swarm. If you can tag team cave troll and bat swarm on something, that's
killing
dead.
Anything.
Yeah. Right. Scooting on to. I forgot to put prowlers in there. So yeah, I've lost a bit of killing power, and Groblog's crown is a bit less useful. But
I still think
screw it.
I still think you're doing well with that. I still think you're doing really well with 32 models at 400 points. Most armies will be around the 20 mark, probably. So, and you've got a cave troll in there.
Yeah, crying when they hit the troll.
Yeah, if you need to, hurl stuff.
Yeah, potentially, and you get the trap bonus off of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff's on the floor. To deal with enemy heroes, you got a big troll, you got a bat swarm, and Groblog can, in a pinch, just throw himself in front of and just do defense a couple of times. And so
exactly.
Right, scooting on to 600 points. It's time for Admiral Snack Bar. it's watchy time. We discussed him, I think, about a month ago when the FAQ came out, and I thought, right, I'm trying that. So it's 40 models. I just chucked in another captain with a warband. there's one prowler or so around, but the idea is that the Watcher is the centerpiece, and he can do lots of tentacly fun stuff. Yeah, 40 models at 600 points with a 200-point, conveyor belt is pretty nice.
Death.
I was going to say, the only thing I would say is it's low on numbers for a Moria army at 600.
Yeah,
but
400 still, 40 still isn't bad.
Oh yeah. You'll still outnumber like all armies pretty much.
And then when you're grabbing like some of their heroes or banners and stuff like that, you're swinging.
If you remove the banner, their troops don't win as many fights. If you yoink in the hero, they lose a lot of their damage output. And even if all you do is pull models in, like basic troops, and just eat 4 of them in a turn, those are combats that you're not losing and your goblins are not dying.
Oh, gotcha.
So, it all does go out in the end.
Yeah, no, agree. Like you say, you've got a Moria army with a big centerpiece in it, which is why the models count isn't as high as you would have thought it would be. But it's still essentially the rest of your list is don't die and let the Watcher do tentacle stuff.
Yeah, so it'll struggle with some scenarios, but it's the fun model to use. So
I don't think it'll struggle with many scenarios.
Maybe mobility, and maybe if I have to spread out because it's with a shaman and a Watcher, it's kind of a bubble army, but
a little bit, but
not fussed. Then we roll on to 800 points and just roll in with Durberts and bulk out the numbers a bit. Chuck another bat swarm in. I didn't want to escalate the numbers to a ridiculous number so that basically your opponent had no chance to break you. So stuck in the second bat swarm, bumped a few up to prowlers, but it's a fairly simple escalation, to be honest. Just more bodies and an extra hero. Durberts brings heroic, another set of strike and defense, but also resolve, which can make your Watcher have 2 free resistant to magic rolls per turn.
And he's got 12-inch standfast, correct?
Yeah. So actually, if you're doing like domination, you can spread out. You put him in the middle and keep it all going.
Yeah.
And the shaman makes him auto pass his courage test.
Yeah.
So auto 12-inch standfast.
Is he a legend or is he?
He's a Valor.
Because Barrock's legend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we go to cool.
No Black Shield Shaman?
The main thing you get a Black Shield Shaman for is to shatter the enemy banner, and basically the Watcher does that for you.
Cool.
Much better.
Yep. Argument made and won.
So then
we'll move
400
on to
points
400.
of Lake Town. Yeah, so there isn't really a way around the fact that Lake Town is just Bard and 1 troop type, and then it's just you choose your heroes. So at that point, you need to get the most out of Bard and make him as survivable as possible. So you use Alfred to give him the might, use the girls to give him the heroic combats. You do end up with some icky points with Lake Town where it's like, I need another hero to fill the remainder of the points, but I can't fit any troops in.
Yeah.
So this was one of them. And then I put the Lake Town captain in because mobility, because Lake Town struggles with
I was going to say
that
is it purely for the march, is it?
Just literally for the march, yeah. He's also one of the more survivable heroes available to Lake Town. And there's a pool which is all about just killing off minor heroes. 5 of the 6 new scenarios are about mobility, and the way the pool's now split out, you do need a bit of help moving around the board. So we then go to 600, and it was a choice of I could essentially throw in cheap heroes and lots of troops. I've got to 45 as it is, and I thought if you go any more, it's not a lot of fun for your opponent to deal with. So actually Bilbo, as much as he is kind of a gnarly, useful tool if you use him well, he's also a 90-point sink.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise you've got these sort of 50 points left over, and you either go, right, I go Hilda and a bunch of troops, or,
Yeah, so I played Lake Town, Tom Harrison, Lake Town at Ardacon, and he had less models than you.
Oh, fair enough.
He had Captain, Percy, and he had all your heroes plus Percy. So he went down to about 41 models, I think it was.
Percy's interesting because some people really rate him, and
Yeah.
I really don't. Because he is 3 might, but you've got plenty of might in that army. His only heroic is accuracy, which Bard has anyway. So,
Yeah, it's the buff to rerolling to hit.
but it's only you reroll ones to hit, which is a bit more useful if you're moving around and shooting.
Yeah.
But it only
Yeah,
gives you an extra hit, maybe one extra hit per round, if that, and then that's only killing a third or a sixth of the time.
Yeah.
This
The other
is
thing
more
about
about the 3 might for the moves.
Yeah. But then you go Lake Town Captain, you get much more useful.
Yeah.
You do get like Hilda's with the 1 might is a bit iffy. Bard Bane with the 1 might is a bit iffy. I don't get how Bilbo's allowed to lead 12 troops or have 3 might points
or any
of
troops.
that. But yeah.
You just remember you can't use Alfred on Bilbo.
On Bilbo, yeah, because he's not got Lake Town keyword.
Correct.
Important distinction they made for this edition. Same thing with Gandalf.
Yeah.
And the thing about not including Hilda as well is part of that decision came down to if you've already got Piercing Strike on nearly everybody, then you get to Strength 4. Evil caps out at about Defense 6 on the troops, unless it's very specific Easterling formations.
Yeah.
So you don't need the +1 to wound as much. If it was a free-for-all with the amount of dwarves around and stuff, I probably would go with a. Then we roll up to 800 points, and again, it's about not inflating the numbers to buggery. So I thought the easiest way to swallow up 200 points is just put Gandalf on a horse in there. So
there's 180 right there, isn't it?
180 right there. Chuck in a few more, we get up to 50.
Yeah. Also very handy.
Yeah, by that point, it's a damn good, well-rounded list. Even at that, it's 50 models. It's got March, it's got Bard, it's got the girls, it's got Alfred, it's got the magic, it's got the ring bearer.
Yeah,
it's very
you've
good.
Got everything you want.
It's
really
50 models with discount Aragorn, a ring, and Gandalf.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
And in terms of it, the choices of doing Moria and Lake Town, it's that they are the ones I've done for 4 years. So when I came to being on a nomad on the road, I've not got the facility to paint stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just, okay, these armies I know how to use and they're painted.
And
so
they're
I
ready
just
to go.
take them.
A couple of questions from me. Well, one from Jack in the comment. No Wagner orders in your Moria?
I was seriously looking at Marauders for the 400 point especially, but because if I was going competitive, as I say, it would either be bulk the numbers to 45 and be unbreakable, or halfway house that and also get a Marauder for objectives. Decided to go for fun with Smashy.
Yeah. Could I was going to say, instead of the cave troll, you could put 2 Marauders and 2 Goblins, if I'm correct. Are they 35 points?
Yeah, 30 points each to get up to 60, and then you still have 4 more. You do need something to lead them.
Were you capped out on numbers? Were you?
Yeah, so the filling the war bands with with these points levels and the restrictions on the heroes was a bit trickier than usual.
Yeah. Well, that
there we are.
That sums it up then, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're. Well, actually, you could have done it. You've got 1 space in your shamans, and oh no, you don't, because you have the 4 extra goblins. Ignore me. So yeah, fair enough.
You'd be down on points basically.
So I've given away all my strategy for the weekend, but to be honest, as was said, I've tried to make it nicer to play against if possible, and that's my primary focus.
Yeah, you want to play games, have a good time.
Yeah, I've got far too stressful a job to be asked about. Yeah.
The only other comment I would make is the 800 point Lake Town. Why not even them up across the warbands?
Oh, I could do to wrote it in a bit of a hurry. Which the one with the ones left over? The captain?
Just the captain. Everyone else is
captain's 1 out of 12.
Yeah, I'd probably shift Bilbo's guys to his warband, and then Bilbo's just leading 1 guy or something.
Well, I to be honest, I would just make it equal across the board. So take the 6 from Bard, 3 from Gandalf, chuck them in with Lake Town captain, and you suddenly got 10 in that one and 12 in all the others.
Mm-hmm. There's a rough logic behind you stick the bows with Gandalf for blinding lights, and you put as many bodies with Bard as possible because he needs a meat shield for his annoying little liabilities.
I personally only take some from Bilbo's. I think I'd keep the Gandalf and Bard one the same.
Yeah, no, but also doing it that way, your late time captain is essentially just a warband drop. So yeah.
Maybe Bilbo would be more useful as a warband drop, but yeah, whatever. It's submitted now. Not going to fuss. There were definitely ways to optimize it and try and make it more competitive, but it's whatever.
Yeah, nice. No, I think they're really good lists, and like you say, it's your first tournament for God knows how long, and you just want to have some fun, and you want your opponent to have some fun. So I think they're great lists for it.
Well, as Clubly came in and go, "Oh, such Phil," I can't really tell if he was being facetious. The issue is, and this has happened with a number of models over the last couple of years, suddenly one model is the newest horrible thing available, and that has now happened to Squiddy.
Yeah,
irritating.
Yeah. No, I think he might have just been on about where are they?
Well, possibly the Lake Town at 800. That is a strong looking list.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
No, I think it's their cool lists. Like, you're going there to have fun with models you want to use. Like, that's not all you can do, but that's kind of that's
as you said last time. So you can play with restraint. You don't have to blitz all of his heroes. Yeah. You can just go, I'm going to line up this hurl because it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
So,
or like with your Watcher, you could go, cool, I've hit with 6. I'm going to go and get all of your heroes at once and try and do it.
See how it goes.
Yeah. Like that's like say you were playing like Madril, Baragon, Damrod, like the cheaper heroes who can't strike. You go, cool, right. You and you come here.
Hobbits.
Yeah. Like getting Merry, Pippin, and Sam and Frodo all into the Watcher at once would be hilarious.
Oh yeah. But quick clean up in the comment section. So Jack has said, "Shaman when you're not expecting to break." If I was taking the 45 models, probably I wouldn't expect to break, but courage control is the biggest problem that goblins have. You want to be able to reliably charge things.
I was going to say, terror's the big thing for Fury nowadays.
Yeah.
And Wag Marauders with axes is fun. I'm thinking about that. Would you'd pay 1 point and then your Marauder can go piercing strike? That's really funny. Similar with Cave Troll, actually. In theory, you pay 1 point and you can exchange his 2-handed hammer for a 2-handed axe.
Yeah.
And then you just,
Jax just raised the exact question. He said, how many points do you pay for the Wild Marauder with an axe? 1 or 3?
Just one for one model.
And then when it falls apart, all of the 3 goblins have axes now for the price of okay.
Oh god. Oh god.
The warg doesn't have one though. You can't give wargs axes. I am sad about this.
Yes. Yeah, was it anything with like claws and teeth you can't give.
Can't replace claws, teeth.
Can't give warg gear. There was an FAQ to say you can't have a warg pick up a banner, and that made me so sad. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember because there was a whole thing. A great beast can't pick up a banner either anymore. I remember the genius plan of Larry Miller, because it's Larry.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. So the idea was that he'd have an orc banner. You deploy it and deploy the Great Beast behind it. First turn, run over the Orc banner so the Great Beast picks up the banner.
That would be
and then just goes around trampling stuff.
That would be incredible.
Because imagine the size. The banner size is huge.
How many points are Great Beast? 150?
125?
125?
I think.
125? I
think it's 125 now.
Axe teeth.
So he carries around the banner in his mouth. Like,
just thinking for the GT, 400 points. Right, here's 2 Great Beasts straight off the bat with stuff.
I've been thinking about because I've got an idea for my good list I want to run, but for my evil, I was just like, can I do Witch King, Gothmog, and Great Beast?
How many points are you looking at?
800.
Shadow Lord on Fell Beast, 2 Great Beasts, 2 catapults with severed heads.
I hate siege engines, so I don't want to use them.
Like, genuinely, it's a list.
I'm stubborn.
It's a list I really, really want to run because it sounds so funny. Like, horrendously funny.
Yeah. I actually think Great Beasts are kind of cool.
I think they're great.
I remember
Yeah, good
I've
model.
got 2 sat here.
Sterling 2019, which is actually the last event I went to. I borrowed a Great Beast with it was a Warg Rider army with a single Great Beast.
Oh,
and
nice.
it was actually pretty good. 1, because it just gave me a giant meat shield.
Yeah.
And 2, because it would make holes.
Yeah.
Even though it was 2 dice needing 6s, it would make holes and then my wargs would just charge through.
Yeah. Like,
and just get on spears and stuff.
solid. I really want to find a list where two work. And 800 points, Shadow Lord of Beast, 2 Great Beasts and 2 Catapults, I think, is a top quality list.
As we have to mention, why would you take a Great Beast when you could take Kaddish Chariots for 30 points as the...
Hi, Josh.
Good old Josh.
We were going to, so Tom Hawker
Don't even know
has
he's still
collected... Tom Hawker has collected like all of these things, so we were going to run a 1,000-point event just so that he could have the Royal War Mumak, a Kaddish King in Chariot, a Great Beast of Gorgoroth, and someone else. It was just going to be the lawnmower list.
Camels, I presume.
Camels, you're right, yeah. A warband of camels.
I remember playing...
That'd be incredible.
Is it Mark Kempster?
Yeah.
With Iron Hill's Chariots.
Oh, was that where he had like 4 of them?
I went to the Throne of Skulls. I played against Mark with 4, and then against Charles Sims with 3 and Dane. I played against 7 chariots in one event, killed them all. It was great.
What were you running?
Helmingers and Lotharian. Grimbold and Haldir went to town. Fight 6, 200. Oh! Double wounds. It was so good.
God.
But yeah, and then that was also the year after I'd played Mark's 3 chariot list at Ardacon. Or something like 2 or 3 chariots at Ardacon. Beat him as well. It's like, I'm just getting too good. That alongside practice games against Cowman. And his chariots
bye-bye.
kill them all the time.
Oh dear. I think that's brought us to a nice conclusion, gents. So
we've got some Helmingers references.
Oh, obviously. It's always time to go to bed when Helmingers come out. Thank you very much for joining me again. We will do this again in 2 weeks. So the 5th of October.
Obviously, 2 events to talk about.
Everything permitting. The GT and...
Because he's Siege's GT and I'm going to Stockport doubles with Josh Dewi.
Oh, cool. So yeah,
that's a 1-day event.
Yeah, we'll try and do quicker roundups than when me and Ali were talking about tournaments. Just because I think it's more interesting for people.
It'll probably be game 1, Josh carried me. Game 2, Josh carried me. Game 3, I did something. Game 4, Josh carried me.
No, or the other way around, always. The next one will be 5th of October. After that, they will try and be every 2 weeks. However, I cannot guarantee that.
Got a babby.
Yeah, my firstborn is due on the 30th of October, and obviously babies, they can do what they want and arrive when they want.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will be on standby for whenever. So, yeah, the intent is to carry on every 2 weeks. Obviously, there might be a break at some time soon.
Might also just like mid-episode. Dewi!
Gotta
go.
Yeah. That could be a thing. That could be a thing, and that would be highly amusing. But yeah,
try and get a Halloween baby if you can.
We really want a Halloween baby. We really want a Halloween baby. It would suit us down to a T.
It would be hilarious for us 3 in the chat. You'd be like panicking.
Yeah. Be like, right, I'm out.
Yeah.
So then we get to fight as to who is the replacement host. 3-way fight.
I mean, you're on the road, so your internet's dodgy. I already stream, so go on.
So yeah, thank you for joining us, and like I said, we'll see you in 2 weeks with some more tournament discussions and some more Time Slot 5. So until then, we will see you all soon.
Boy.